Hello, everybody. Welcome back to How Come, and happy birthday to my boyfriend, comedian, gorgeous Ben DeMarco.
Hey, everybody. Thanks, Rem.
Cuting. This week's episode is late because we're celebrating Ben's birthday and because we recorded this episode about OnlyFans and OnlyFans taking down adult content. And then literally the next day, the news was like, maybe not.
Right.
And I was like, oh, well, maybe this isn't that relevant anymore. But it is still relevant because like credit card companies and social media still does come after sex workers. So it's still a valid episode. But yeah, OnlyFans apparently is going to allow adult content for the foreseeable future.
Well, yeah, that's what I said was going to happen.
Yeah.
Rem recorded the episode right when because she likes to stay on top of things.
Yeah. And I saw so many of my friends like losing their job. Like everybody on this episode pays their rent with OnlyFans.
Right. Yeah. But what I saw when the OnlyFans made that announcement,
yeah,
it wasn't like they took it away from people right then. They were like, we're going to.
In October. Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, so there's nothing has even happened yet. And the people will speak on this the same way that they hated how Sonic the Hedgehog looked. I told Rem,
yeah.
I was like, they literally remade an entire movie because the internet got pissed off.
Did you know about this?
Yeah, they remade the entire
Sonic the
character.
Hedgehog animated movie because he had teeth and they were like creepy.
He looked weird, and the internet was like, we hate this. We will not go see this movie if Sonic looks like this. Yeah. And I was like, just give it some time for the internet to speak on this because OnlyFans. And people were. You recorded your episode immediately.
Yeah.
And people were upset, rightfully so.
Yeah. I saw a meme that was like, OnlyFans announcing that they're not having adult content anymore is like Hogwarts announcing that they don't teach magic anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was like, I just kind of was like, all right, well, just wait on it. And then literally a week later, OnlyFans.
No, like the next day after. Yeah. Well, no, we first saw it was announced. Then I put the episode together.
Right.
Recorded, and then a day later it was like
yep, we're just kidding, we
were wrong, sorry about that.
OnlyFans backs out on what they were talking about, and
which
it's
is
because
good. I'm happy to
everybody
see that.
on the internet said the same thing, and it's the same shit with Jeopardy.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Thank you for bringing this up.
That's the same shit with Jeopardy. Mike
fucking Richards
was one of the worst, in my opinion, one of the worst guest hosts. And he kind of just stepped into that job, and everybody was like, no, you know what? We're not having that. Jeopardy loyal fans are not going to have it. Mm-hmm.
But the whole thing was, so if you're a big Jeopardy watcher,
like we are
every night. After Alex died, they did this like rotation every 2 weeks. It would be like a new guest host, and it was like testing out to see who the best was. And like the public initially was like LeVar Burton, please, like from Reading Rainbow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he did make it into the rotation, but scandal, he only got 1 week in the midst of the Olympics, so like he was gonna get worse ratings. But the reason why Mike Richards got the spot is not because he was like better than anyone. He's the fucking producer of the show.
Right.
So he probably planned that LeVar 1 week thing. Like, and then the internet, like me being one of them, I have retweeted every single like fuck Mike Richards thing. Yeah. It was like, yeah, he's going to be the host. And we were all like, no. And then some people dug into Mike Richards' past. And apparently he used to host a podcast. It's a stupid name. Google Mike Richards podcast.
Why are you plugging his podcast?
Well, it doesn't exist anymore. It's just a dumb name. Whatever. So he had a podcast and it had a really dumb name, and it's also been taken off the internet. But everything on the internet exists forever. And some people found he had like made like really misogynistic comments, like anti-Semitic comments, like racist comments, and then he had to step down.
All those things are terrible, but not as terrible as his hosting.
His hosting was
so bad.
No, his hosting was so bad. And had he never appointed himself king and host, we would have never found out he was such a shithead.
Yeah.
He totally fucked himself.
Yeah.
He could have just stayed producer of an amazing show called Jeopardy and hung out with whatever amazing host he wanted to hang out with.
Aaron Rodgers. You didn't even get to see Aaron Rodgers.
I didn't get to see Aaron Rodgers.
Football quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. Who knew that guy could host? And that last guy who was a sports reporter.
I loved him.
He was great too.
Katie Couric was really good.
Yeah.
That guy Busy or something. Dweeby. What was his name? I loved him. He was really good.
Blossom's real name?
Mayim Bialik.
Yeah, so she's now slated to be
like a sometimes host.
Yeah.
But she's also got her own issues. She's like a...
Does she?
Yes.
I mean, we all do.
No. Like, hold on.
What's her problem?
Jordan told me this. You guys, Jordan Fisher, my college roommate, we've already recorded an episode. It's on Patreon. It's so good. What did she tell me about Mayim Bialik? Oh, she's an anti-vaxxer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man, I'm always surprised. There's always something
this is so funny. Wait, in this chat, I was telling Jordan that on Watch What Happens Live, Andy Cohen's show, they gave Jack Hole of the Day to Mike Richards for making himself host.
Yeah, but that's one of those things. The internet will speak. So a lot of the times, you kind of just gotta like wait and marinate on it before you jump and record an episode.
Hey, I still think it's a good episode.
Yeah, and I mean, Billy's hilarious. Billy
funny.
Is a
Anya's hilarious.
Yeah.
Mean, is amazing. They all deserve their own singular episodes eventually.
Exactly. So no, it's still a great episode, and those people are all great and hilarious. So it's still relevant too.
Also, I think it's a really good display of what the internet can do and how like speaking up can be effective.
Totally.
Whether it's Sonic's teeth or like abortion rights.
Yeah. Or people's right to post sexual content.
Yeah.
Or Mike Richards, shady.
He's so shady. Gabby said he Dick Cheney'd himself because apparently Dick Cheney was like on the committee to find vice president and then like made himself vice president. Or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how vice president works.
Dick Richards.
But ask Gabrielle Bluestone. She knows actual facts. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this episode is with comedians Anya Volz, Billy Procida, TikToker Kenneth Pabon. I might call him Kenny this whole time. And it's a really good time.
Listen up.
Listen up. And happy birthday to you, my Virgo king.
Thank you, my queen. You are my queen, Rebecca.
It's from something. He knows my name. And hey, thanks to Calm, the #1 mental wellness app, for supporting How Come. Sleep more, stress less, live better with Calm. Go to calm, CALM.com, COM/howcome. For a limited time, get 40% off your Calm premium subscription with hundreds of hours of programming, unlimited access to Calm's entire library, and new content is added every week. Thanks to Dipsea for supporting How Come. Dipsea is an audio app full of short, sexy stories. If you're looking to heat things up, there's a story waiting for you. Get an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipseastories.com/howcome. And finally, thanks to BetterHelp for supporting How Come. For 10% off your first month, go to betterhelp.com/howcome. Start living a better life today. Okay, I'm so excited for this episode. And insane, down-to-the-minute news that just popped up on my phone as I was editing this right now. Mike Richards is now out as executive producer of Jeopardy 2. So not only is he out as host, but they don't even want him as producer anymore, says CNN Business. And we love to see it. What a fucking nincompoop. Okay, let's go. Okay, enjoy the episode. Goodbye.
Bye.
How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna just...
Welcome, Anya Volz.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome, Kenneth Pabon.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome, Billy Procida.
Hello there.
How are you guys?
And better.
Yeah, not
Right?
panicking at all. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
Not a great week for everybody. OnlyFans is banning sexually explicit content, which is like so strange. I don't know. Could any of you have predicted this?
Yeah.
They've been
Big time.
We've been predicting it for a while.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sex
Ever
workers have
since Bella
been
Thorne?
no. Sex workers have been screaming about this since Tumblr. Every single platform that shares pornography and other things eventually excludes the pornography for many reasons, all of them shitty. But and then the ones that are just pornography based are usually super exploitive and shitty in other ways. We're begging people to care. We've been begging people to care. But yeah, we knew.
care.
We knew.
Yeah. Literally on our knees for things other than content, but to beg you to care.
I also feel like they were like doing like these like subtle like brandings on Twitter, like OnlyFans, and it was like, yeah, like come try my cooking class. Like, and I'm like, does anyone use OnlyFans for cooking? Because I don't know who is.
Yeah, I was curious. I was like, well, what else is there? Like, I thought OnlyFans was for accounting and that's it.
I mean, I know comedians who were getting like actively recruited by OnlyFans. Yeah. Like they would slip in their DMs and be like, hey, do you like, we'll help you set up a page for your comedy. And people,
I got one of those, but I was like, no, I haven't made an OnlyFans yet. So, and I have a Patreon.
Right. Yeah. Like that's what Patreon is for.
Right. And Patreon takes 5 to 10%. Like OnlyFans taking 20. Why would you be on OnlyFans?
Why would
unless
you do
it's
that?
For news?
Yeah.
My biggest warning when I knew it was coming, I just didn't realize it was going to come this fast, was
isn't that always the case?
Yeah. Last week I had an advertisement for OnlyFans pop up on my Instagram. Meanwhile, if you advertise your OnlyFans on Instagram, you get banned. So I was like, oh, they are pivoting if they're advertising on Instagram right now.
Yeah. Wait, so can you guys tell me all of your histories with OnlyFans? Like, how did you get involved? Who's paying rent with it right now?
I am.
All hands just shut up.
My entire lifestyle.
Yeah, my entire life is paid for. I moved over from like just selling content via like DMs and email and stuff to officially doing it on OnlyFans when the pandemic hit. And it immediately, like within the first week, became my only job, which I'm very fortunate that worked out for me. But it's also because I had like a client base already.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's been like, about a year and a half of it being my entire income.
And what was the client base from before?
I just had been selling content for like 4 or 5 years on like the side, because if you do it like one-on-one and not on like an official platform, it's hard to make it your full income. But I also I didn't even think that would be an option for me, and
it's a lot of paperwork too.
It felt like it would be, but then when I lost my job because of the pandemic, and it wasn't clear yet whether freelancers and like private contractors were going to get unemployment. So I just very quickly was like, all right, let's see what this OnlyFans thing is all about. And it worked out. And then I never really needed to collect unemployment because of it, even though I did end up being eligible, which I was very fortunate for. But yeah, it was just because I already had been like kind of carving out a little bit of a clientele. And then I started advertising it more openly, because my system before was if people DM'd me for nudes, I said like, you can pay for them, but I didn't advertise that was something I was doing. I just kind of did it when I was hit up for it. And so then when I was like, okay, let's try it, I started advertising it, and turns out some other followers were interested and just didn't DM me about it before.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like every time you'd advertise like one photo, you'd be like, hey, like this is new on OnlyFans. I'd be like, oh my God, Anya's like, she's really putting work into this OnlyFans. Like maybe I should join.
Yeah. I mean, it is a lot of work, but it was also like a huge godsend for me and so many other people during the pandemic.
Aren't you in like a top like 1.7?
The highest I've been has been top 1.3, and I usually am within the top 2%. But you fluctuate depending on the week.
That's like Caroline Calloway without the scams.
Yeah.
We love to see it. What about you, Kenny?
So it's kind of similar to Anya, where during the pandemic, I didn't have a job. I was in college full time. But I was making TikToks with my family.
Iconic TikToks.
And I had no money. Like I was broke, and I was like, okay, like I left my job. I'm in college, but I'm just sitting home because it's a pandemic. And I was like, let's just send the OnlyFans. Like that's it. Like I just like literally was like, I need money now. And then within the first week, like she said, like similar to Anya, I had made enough and I was like, all right, I'm dropping out of college. Like this is it. Like, which was way too premature. But I was just like, I was what, 21 at the time. So I was like, I never seen this amount of money before. Like this is insane. Like, and I could feel like I could just keep doing this. And until last week's news, I was like, I had no intentions of stopping ever. So
you're not making money from TikTok yet.
I like brand deals are here. Wait, is my Wi-Fi good? Sorry.
I can hear you.
I can hear you. It's your face just isn't moving as much, but it's cool.
But it's always like a great pose, you know, like it still works.
Yeah. He's literally, you know, that TikTok filter where it just like stops and like it's like, see if you're good looking by if you can like freeze, like Kenny like can do it. Yeah.
Okay, well I'll take it. Just let me know if you guys can't hear me. Like brand deals are great and freelance is great, but this was like a guaranteed stable paycheck that I had each week.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know how much recurring subscribers I have and I can gauge my spending and like budget. And again, like brand deals take like 30 days to pay out. So this was a great consistent way to like feed myself.
Totally.
So
yeah, I just think it's so interesting because it's like I would know you as like Kenny from TikTok or whatever. Like if I didn't know you first, and I would assume that that's where you would make most of your income, and it's like no, most of it's coming from OnlyFans right now.
Literally sex work. Like that's just the way a lot of TikTokers in general, I think, and creatives on social media do OnlyFans and keep it as a secret. Like I think that is like a very big thing. And like they'll call it your Twitter.
They'll call it your Twitter.
Yeah, they're like, I've seen his Twitter before, and I'm like, okay, I promote on there too, but like it's mostly OnlyFans.
So funny. And Billy, tell us your story about dipping into OnlyFans and how it's going.
Well, like as the least hot person on the panel, I think I make the least of everyone here, but like it's it's still,
but you're paying rent.
Yeah, which like is definitely above any expectation I had, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that automatically makes you hot. No, like if you can pay rent with your body, you're hot.
Yeah, I had a weird. I have a lot of like body issues for pretty much my whole life, and you know, what's frustrating is the very first month I made more than my Patreon had ever done in 1 month, and that's frustrating. Like, I've been building that for years, and this was like the first month. I was like, "You fuckers!" You know, I took my dick out, and now you took your credit card out. But like, you know, with my body issues, is actually kind of cool because I made a deal with myself. I said, I was like, okay, if I still want to hate my body, I can, but I can't say I'm not hot because that body paid rent. So like, I can hate my body, but I have to respect it. You know. I did some work. I probably have like an odd journey in, as especially I've been cultivating like a fan base around my sex life for the last like 7.5 years, doing my own.
Yeah, Man Whore Podcast is about your sex life. Like we've been hearing about what you've been doing, but we haven't seen it.
Like whether you wanted to hear about it or not, like it was being shared out there, you know. And apparently a lot of people also wanted to see it, and they wanted to see like what the hype was about, and the hype was very mediocre, but they enjoy unlocking the stuff and being able to kind of like flirt and interact, because previously like people would hit me up in my DMs and like they'd want to flirt or they want nudes, or I get people who wanted to share nudes so that I would like give them a reaction, and it was nice to now funnel them into like a more proper place for that.
You're like, give me money so I can react to you.
Yeah, and also allowed me to like not have to parse out like who am I going to like actually chit chat with and who am I going to ignore, you know.
Totally.
Now I'm just send them all there. That's a more appropriate place for it. And yeah, I had my girlfriend at the time, she had been doing OnlyFans for a few months and like crushing it. And I like got a lot of nice tips from her for starting out. And I went through my phone and it turned out like I had a lot of content just from like sexting over the years. And so I just started started posting that, and just like, apparently people were interested, and have like, cultivated some people who like where my dick's been, or they enjoy seeing me like hooking up with the people that they hear about on the podcast. Like I actually interviewed someone recently who's also an OnlyFan, Kathy Reisenwitz. She's a writer. And so I had her do the podcast when I was out in San Francisco. And then when I was walking out the door, she was like, by the way, do you do collabs? And I'm like, oh gosh. Yeah, you're very cute. I would love to. So like I came by a couple of days later, and then like she interviewed me for her OnlyFans that then transitioned into like us hooking up. And yeah.
Fun. Oh my God, you guys, this sounds like one of my like Dipsea stories that I'd listen to get off to. Dipsea stories. They are so fun. And I always say everyone needs an escape, but those can be hard to come by right now. So enter Dipsea. Let yourself get lost in a world where good things happen and where your pleasure is the only priority. We know the story of boy meets girl, but what about the story of creator meets creator? Hot. That's amazing. Dipsea is an audio app full of short, sexy stories designed to turn you on, and it will, and it does. Each Dipsea story features characters that feel like real people and immersive scenarios, so you feel like you're right there. And I bet a lot of them are based off of real people and immersive scenarios. They release new content every week, so there's always more to explore, no matter who you're into or what turns you on. And if you need to wind down, Dipsea also has wellness sessions, sensual bedtime stories, and soundscapes to help you relax before you drift off. I love Dipsea because there's always something new to hear about, and we're talking about creators that show stuff on the internet. Sometimes you don't like to look, you just like to listen because you like to imagine. That's why we do this podcast, because we can hear some sexy stories. But Dipsea has stories that are literally just straight up sexy, fun. You're looking to get turned on. You do. I enjoy. And for listeners of the show, Dipsea is offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipseastories.com/howcome. That is 30 days of full access for free when you go to dipseastories.com/howcome. It's amazing. Also amazing, just while I'm talking you guys' ear off, is BetterHelp. Sometimes you can't even get horny because you are so preoccupied in your brain with other stuff, and you need to go to therapy. Usually when anything is wrong in life, I'm like, I should go to therapy. And if there's something that's interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals, BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You connect in a safe and private online environment, so it's convenient, and you start communicating in under 48 hours, all without ever having to leave your house, which I love. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if you need. I haven't needed because I love Monica. She's amazing. And BetterHelp is available for clients worldwide, so we love to recommend it. Anything you share on BetterHelp is confidential. BetterHelp is convenient, professional, and affordable, much more affordable than anything else I've ever used. And you get really timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions and send a message to your counselor anytime. So I'm like constantly texting. I rarely do phone sessions. When I really need one, I'll do one, and it's awesome. But there's like no pressure. And I feel like, I don't know, in other therapy, there's so much pressure. In this, like, if you're just feeling off, you can text your therapist and they'll send you like a nice little pamphlet or just a paragraph to be like, hey, think about it this way. If you are looking to talk about depression, stress, anxiety, relationships, sleeping, trauma, anger, grief, self-esteem, sexual or gender identity, get on BetterHelp. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. Again, I love it. Monica's the best. I feel like I have talked a lot less shit about people because I have an unbiased person to tell things about, and it prevents a lot of issues and helps me see things in a much more clear way, when usually I would just like spin out of control and probably suck one of my friends into the madness. So if you want to start living a happier life today, get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/howcome. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. That is BetterHelp, HELP.com/howcome for 10% off your first month. Thank you so much, BetterHelp. All right, let's get back to the episode. So cool. Wait, so can I ask about your guys' fan bases on your respective pages? Because Billy, you do a thing on your podcast, and when you had me on, that was like you ask everybody their sexual orientation and stuff. So what is everybody's sexual orientation, and then what do you think your fan base is mostly made up of?
I am a non-binary, bisexual / pansexual person. And my fan base reflects that. I would say the majority of people that are used to paying for porn and are most inclined to pay for porn tend to be men.
Right.
That I think is changing, but like in general, if you cater to men, you are going to make more money, I think, no matter who you are. But I have, you know, women and like non-binary people.
Non-binary people, yeah.
Gay men and straight men, and like straight women and lesbians, and like other bisexual people and like trans people.
Awesome.
Because I am queer, I feel like I'm interesting to other queer people. And and both in my life and in sex work, I'm like a person that people tend to like figure out their sexualities on, because I am kind of like this like nothing and everything kind of I like occupy that kind of space. So I would say the majority of my fans are queer and or like trans, non-binary, and like that is my niche, but definitely like also a lot of horny straight guys for sure. Yeah.
How many comics?
A lot.
That's a great question.
A lot of comics, but you know what I like is a lot of them put their real name as their their subscription name. A lot of them ask me first if it's okay.
That's so
nice.
Yeah,
and it's a lot. It's also a lot of people that I've like hooked up with in the past have subscribed to me. But yeah.
Oh my God,
sure,
that is like
a lot of comics, and I'm sure even more that are being like a little bit more anonymous about it. But that's okay too. I'm like advertising it publicly for a reason. They're welcome to do that, but it is very appreciated when people are like upfront about it, because it's both like, oh, thanks for supporting me, and then also like thanks for it kind of being like, I don't know, it's weird when there's something when you know someone in real life and like they know that you have a certain relationship that you don't even know you have that relationship with them, you know.
Right.
But you know, it's not weird enough that.
But that's also why it's nice for them to like ask first, because it's like. Also, I just love that people that you have hooked up with were like, it was so great, I gotta see more.
It's like the ultimate testament.
It really is.
I'm like,
pat yourself on the back and the tush, Anya. Yeah. Kenny, what about you?
So my pronouns are he, him. I'm gay. And I don't have like very close relationships with my OnlyFans subscribers to know enough about them. And most of them don't create usernames. So it's like the user generated user and like the random user like number, or like a fake name. Like there's so many John Does, and like John Doe 1, John Doe 2. Like they're not even creative with the names. But I don't really know what that means, but I assume that it's mostly men. I have gotten a few women, and they'll just DM me and be like, honestly, like just wanted to see like the angles and what we got going on here, like, and they'll say it and they'll be really funny and sweet, but I would assume that it's mostly men, but I'm not entirely sure.
Could we assume maybe that they're closeted men?
We can, but we don't want to out anyone. But
we don't, of course, but we can't. John Doe, but like,
wait, John Doe's gay?
Their name John Doe is like, what the fuck?
John Doe is gay.
Literally.
Jane Doe too.
Like literally. I also feel, since on TikTok I'm usually wearing like dresses and heels, like people are kind of like ashamed almost to like want to see me naked. Like their like internal masculinity is just like, it's like doesn't work. It's like, oh, I'm not attracted to him, but like what's going on? Like that's why I think.
And so did you got on OnlyFans when?
Last November I got on.
Last November. But and pre-TikTok, right?
No, it was just I started TikTok, and then once I had like 100K on TikTok, I was like, okay, I'm sending this. Like, that's it. Like, okay, cool. Y'all gonna see me naked, even though you didn't ask for it. Like, I was like, what are we doing here? I like money. I need money. I was broke. Like, let's how am I gonna get around this? And this was like the next answer for me, which like unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people do step into sex work for the wrong reasons, like not because they want to, just because they need money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like, that's like definitely what happened to me.
Okay. And your family, I know, is super supportive about all things sexuality. However you want to dress, they're like adorable. Seriously, one of the most joyous families to watch on TikTok. Were they as supportive of OnlyFans?
Yes. My family was so pro OnlyFans. Like my mom was like, please, Kenny, like if I don't have to give you money anymore, like you're doing me a favor at this point. Like she was like, you're broke. Like you got to get over it. I love her. Like, you got to do something. Like it's not, I can't keep paying your rent. And I was like, okay, mom. Yeah. I'll do it.
I have a crazy parasocial relationship with your mom. Like I very much think I already know her.
Yeah. We put a lot out there.
Yeah. And Billy, gender, sexuality, fan base.
Yeah, I'm a straight man, though my wallet is very bisexual. I go with man until I figure out what that even means anymore. I don't know, but my fan base is definitely more men than women. But of the people who spend good money, like my top spender is like a woman in the Midwest. Like of like my top 5, like I think 2 of them are women, and they're definitely disproportionately represented up there. Because men aren't shit. If there's anything I learned, really could confirm. Any guys listening who think women are kind of go like, it's no, really not. A lot of no spending of the money, a lot of disrespect. It's real bad. I'm here to report back. But yeah, it's
from the men.
Yeah, from the men. The women, pretty awesome. The worst it gets with the women is like a cluelessness about paying for nudes from a guy because the concept is so alien to them, right?
Yeah, they're like, usually you get these unsolicited.
Yeah, and for totally free. In fact, some people are like, I would pay money to not get these.
To not get nudes.
Yeah, some people would pay to not get nudes from me, It's like, so... I even the other night I was talking with this woman, and I normally I'll chat in the DMs casually for free if it's not a big deal, but like my thought is like if someone's getting turned on in the conversation, I should start getting money. And this woman kept like chatting, and I'm like, yeah, this is fine, but she would always like throw in a line about like, yeah, but like, don't you wish like I could be there to suck your cock? And then I would like record a talkie voice memo, lock it for $5, and then if she doesn't unlock it and keeps chatting normal, I'm like, all right, fine. But like, I keep giving hints. I'm doing other things. 2 hours later, I had to kind of get real with her, and because she thought OnlyFans was a place to connect with other cute people who sometimes post content. She didn't realize like people got paid on that platform. She was a little confused. We had a very nice, chill, respectful heart-to-heart on that, and she's like, I will definitely be back, and then I will be tipping, and thank you for this education. But also, like, I spent that, in that 2 hour time frame, I got $5 from her. So, that can be tough. Yeah, it's been interesting, like seeing the type of content people want to see in the variety, like I didn't know I had such a nice butt until now, for example.
Oh, that's nice to know.
Or like one guy, like, I got one of those looners who paid me like $200 to shoot a video popping balloons and jerking off. And that was it. And like, I was like, wow, okay. Sexuality is so varied and interesting.
Totally.
Yeah.
I feel like we've learned so far that there's a lot more work involved in this, and like bookkeeping, and also like mental health, like that you have to keep track of, and like emotional well-being. So I hope everybody's taking care of their emotional well-being, because good news and bad news, the world sucks is the bad news, but the good news is there are apps, and Calm is one of those apps that keeps us feeling good. So if you are feeling stressed or anxious, you can navigate change, feel more relaxed, and quiet your mind with Calm. So consider this ad as your mental health checkpoint. If you are not feeling great today, if you haven't been sleeping well, if you've been lacking focus, it's okay to need help sometimes, and Calm can provide support. We have partnered with Calm as well for mental health to give you the tools that improve the way you feel. It's not therapy, but you can clear your head with guided daily meditations. You can improve your focus with Calm's curated music tracks and drift off to dreamland with Calm's imaginative sleep stories. And if you go to calm.com/howcome, you'll get a limited time offer of 40% off a Calm premium subscription, which includes hundreds of hours of programming, and new content is also added every week. There are over 100 million people using Calm around the world to take care of their minds. So sleep more, stress less, live better with Calm. I feel like Calm is an amazing way to take care of yourself with no one else involved. Sometimes you don't want to talk, you just want to listen. And I have always wanted to meditate, and Calm is an amazing app for that. There are guided meditations. Sometimes you can want to do the same one over and over again. Sometimes you want to do a completely new one. And you always can, because they're always adding content, like I said. It is a really great addition to all these apps that we have on our phones that make things horrible. This is one of the apps that makes things good. So again, sleep more, stress less, live better with Calm. And I know that you guys will like it because you love stuff in your ears. And Calm's amazing for that. So for listeners of the show, Calm is offering a special limited time promotion of 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/howcome. That is 40% off unlimited access to Calm's entire library, and new content is added every single week. So get started today at calm.com/howcome. That is calm.com/howcome. Back to the episode. What are the most interesting requests that you guys have gotten? Or are you mostly making content that you enjoy?
I don't really do customs that much. I mean, I'm willing to but I usually have a like kind of prohibitively expensive like starting rate for them, so that like if I do it, it's like worth my time, but it will mostly dissuade people from even asking for custom content because it's like way more expensive than my other content. I rather just like make content that I like and I think is hot and is within my like existing comfort zone, then kind of feel like I'm having like carrots dangled over my head to like push myself out of that comfort zone. And I have pretty firm boundaries in both life and like my other professions, so I didn't want to enter into this profession with any other mindset. And I think, you know, sex work gets a bad rap and people think that we're being exploited, as if like any other labor isn't also like inherently exploitive under capitalism. Not to get too political, but I feel like it's not that different from using my body for like 10-hour shifts at a restaurant, if not honestly less exploitive than that. But because it does have that kind of, you know, that reputation, I've been like very careful to like, you know, prove the haters wrong and like have very firm boundaries, and feel like completely
I think it also
with everything that I'm doing.
Yeah, I think it also might be different, and I might just be speaking for me here, but like for AFAB people, that it's like we do have to set up our boundaries because they have been kind of pushed in other ways before. So it's like you being like, no, I'm not exploiting myself. I'm doing exactly what I want to be doing. And you guys just happen to be here paying for it, which is amazing.
Yeah. And, you know, like, because historically people feel entitled to push our boundaries and, like regardless of the context, money is like, money does create a power dynamic, and people do kind of think that because they're the ones giving you the money that they're the one in the position of power. But it's like, no, I'm actually the one in the position of power because I can block you at the drop of a hat. And like, it is a privilege to see what I'm sending out, and it is a privilege to be even like welcome here. And so like, you know, no amount of money can convince me to do anything. You know, everyone has a price for sure, but within reason, no amount of money can convince me to do anything, you know?
This is like kind of like opposite, but if the price tag, like I'm open to custom requests and I will hear it and accept the request. And then if they're like, okay, like how much are you willing to spend? Then I kind of gauge it that way. But like, I wouldn't do anything that I didn't want to do. Like I get a lot of like farting request videos.
Amazing.
I don't do them because I'm like, if like I just feel like if someone in my family sees a video, like a close-up of like my anus farting, like I'm gonna be like, that's just like not what I want. Like you're gonna think of me so differently after that.
Yeah.
So I don't fart.
I have limits.
But I do a lot of belly button pictures. I have a really good belly button.
Cute.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't heard that one before.
The gay male OnlyFans scene is like such a different world. Like so many of my friends are gay male OnlyFans creators, and the amount of like farting requests, the amount of like specific body part and body type fetishes, it's like a completely different ballpark.
Oh, they're
and
kinky.
It's so
We're kinky
fascinating
over
to me.
here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't got any of those for OnlyFans, but I webcammed for a couple years in college, and I got like a request like that where like the guy said, "Look, bro, I don't want to see you jerk off. I don't really need to see your cock. I just want to see you sitting around your place being a gross man. I want you to burp. I want you to fart. I want you to scratch your balls, you know, and just be a dude." And then I'm just thinking to myself, like, I know all the words to the musical Rent. Like, I don't think I'm that guy. I think you picked the wrong bro.
What game's on today?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's so funny. Anya, you kind of touched on this already, because we've been having this debate on our Instagram today of what a real job is, because I saw this meme that Sour Psycho, it's like this big meme account, posted, and it was like the movie Life Size, you know, with Tyra Banks, where she like is like that like doll or whatever, and she goes to work and like she's like typing on a computer, and this woman comes over to see what she's typing, and she's basically just like typing like gibberish or whatever, and the caption was, "OnlyFans creators when they have to go get real jobs." I just got super pissed, because I was like, why are you hitting an entire community when they're already down? And like,
it's also like, do you think that we don't have to do office job work for this job? It's a marketing job, first and foremost. And it's like, we do so much desk work. Like 80% of my job is sitting typing on a computer, and 20% of it is in front of a ring light in like a hot look, you know, like it's like, I just am begging these people to try to make the money that we fucking make on OnlyFans without like computer skills or whatever it is they think that we don't have for like a quote unquote real job. But that being said, yeah, obviously it's a real job, even without comparing it to an office job. Even if it was just sitting in front of a ring light, it's a real job.
Compare it to a film set.
Hard.
Yeah,
exactly. And like, but the thing about those people is that they disrespect so much labor. It's not just our labor.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think it's the same fucking people that say shit about flipping burgers as if that's not a valuable part of our society, as if these people don't fucking eat burgers like that other people made for them and pay for it. Like, it's, you know, I think sex workers get a particularly like rough edge of that sword, but it is like a labor issue first and foremost. And I think the like sex work is real work movement is like about all labor being
real
respected, and not just like us. Because also, as OnlyFans creators, and as us, like as this moment of OnlyFans being like kind of taken away from us, is for a lot of us our first brush with what sex workers have been bumping up against for centuries now. And it's like it's our version of like when Backpage was deleted, and like there's so many real like, you know, in person. Backpage was a website that like full service sex workers were able to solicit on, and they were able to communicate with each other, and it was like a resource that made in-person sex work much safer. And it was deleted because of Sesta Fosta, which, you know, hopefully you know what that is, but if you don't, Google it.
They know, but yes, Google it again, you guys. Sesta Fosta.
It wasn't an effort to like quote unquote stop human trafficking, but like LOL, these people were forced back into trafficking situations because without the protection of those resources, you know, of course, the next step is the protection of like a pimp, aka a trafficker, etc. So, you know, we actually have, as much as this sucks, we are in a very privileged position that this is for a lot of us like our first experience with like what has been a war against like working class people, among them being sex workers, for centuries now, you know. So it's like an issue of like sex work is real work, but like all work is real work, and also like what is work and why do we have to do it to survive?
Totally.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and I'm glad Anya covered it from the labor standpoint. And this is the thing I try to tell to every like edgelord dude bro. It's like, this is also a First Amendment issue. Like y'all should like, comedians need to care about this too. Like Lenny Bruce. You know, like read your history books, comics. I know we don't like reading outside of Joe Rogan, but like you got to read something. You know, Sesta Foster was really like, you know, anti-free speech.
Yeah.
It's like it's digital censorship masquerading as anti-sex trafficking legislation, because really what it does is, hey, the government can't technically restrict speech, so we're gonna bully platforms and scare the shit out of them into making them censor speech. And it's like, well, if it starts here, who's next? Like you want to say like if you this is why I don't buy this libertarian bullshit about like free speech, because every time it comes to porn, it's like silence, fucking crickets. Like when the Parler app launched to like be the anti-Twitter and the free speech what's the first thing I did? I went into those terms of service, and guess what? You can't post there sexually explicit content. I'm sorry, is my dick not free speech?
Yeah, it is free speech. And also, like, if this work isn't being done legally, it's gonna get done illegally and harmfully. And like, we have a whole episode on sex trafficking and how it's different from people opting into sex work.
Can I add on to what Billy was just saying? The thing about this is that there's a lot of different reasons why there's like a pretty much bipartisan both sides, quote unquote, of the aisle have come together on specifically targeting sex work and trying to eliminate it. And I think a huge reason for that is because both sides benefit from us as in like, we the fucking people, being terrified of homelessness and of poverty. And because of that terror, being willing to be exploited in unacceptable work environments. And sex work is one of the lowest barriers to entry, because anybody can do it. To financial freedom and stability. And I think that scares the ever-loving fuck out of the powers that be. And so they try to scare people into thinking that sex work is immoral and that we're like being exploited and that people are being trafficked, when really they're the ones that want to exploit us and traffic us for their purposes.
Right.
And I think that like a huge reason why sex work is the labor that they want to like, you know, wrangle and control, is because it's like one of the only labors that they still have not figured out how they can like benefit from it, because it is like a way that we have, like, especially during the pandemic, so many people have like carved out a completely new life,
independent lives. Well, that's what I was going to say before it came back to me, is nobody is really poo-pooing the people that are buying it. It's the people that are making it. And there's always
no one should be poo-pooed at all.
That's what I'm saying, is I don't want anybody poo-pooed, but if
we don't want the Nordic model up in here. Thank you.
No. But if you're going to blame one party, you have to be an equal opportunist. You can't just be like, oh, it's the people making it. It's like, well, who are they making it for? You know, like, there's always going to be supply because there's demand.
And there's been demand since there were like humans and we had a bartering system.
Yeah, exactly.
Since there were
buttholes that could fart, there was people being like,
I want to watch that.
Yeah.
I will give you 3 chickens if you just fart in my face real quick.
Exactly. But yeah, so I put up a question box on our Instagram just to be like, okay, like, let's start here. What is your definition of a real job? And we had some really great responses: an exchange of goods and or time for money and or recognition, performing a task that you're compensated for, there are no rules, the thing you do to make money and live when you'd rather be smoking a J, anything you do that helps you out, or anything you do that helps you put food on the table and a roof over your head. And I loved all those responses. And then there was this second group of responses that was like, I make money from it and I pay taxes with it. Any job that is legal and pays the bills, something that you have to pay taxes for or whatever. And I was like, yeah, but I have a little trouble with this one, because let's remember that legality is different in different countries. It's also changed over time. If you recall what's been legal in this country and what has been illegal, like legality does not equate morality. And then that second half of it is the taxes. Well, of course, if you're thinking legality, taxes is tied into that. And I wrote a paper in 6th grade that was like, hey, sex work should be legal. Like, if you're not even thinking of the protection of the sex workers, think about how much taxes we could get from people.
Like, sex workers already pay taxes. That you don't need a special hoe tax. Like, you just pay your regular income, independent, whatever tax. Like I paid taxes on my OnlyFans income last year. Like I paid it on my Patreon and anything else.
The amount of my own fucking money that just went to the government that is trying to like eliminate the job that made that money is actually mind-boggling. Like they made so much money off of me this year, more than they ever have, but they really want me to go back to a restaurant where they actually would owe me money at the end of the year. Like, okay, whatever you want.
Yeah,
babes.
if you have to think of it selfishly, government and other people who want to benefit from taxes, like let people do sex work and pay taxes.
Also, the legality thing is like funny because how much you want to bet those are the same people romanticizing like speakeasies during Prohibition.
Totally.
And, like, the roaring 20s.
Totally. 100%.
There's another element of like fiscal discrimination here. Like you got the taxes stuff, but like there's a safe banking act like that's going to get passed soon for weed. Right. And porn, which is already legal, has been legal, literally is not a crime. There are porn stars, like big porn stars, I'm sure many people jerk off to, that the household names can lose bank accounts. Banks will be like, we're cutting you a check. We found out who you really are. And you know what? We don't need your dirty money. And it's like, why is legal adult services not included in a safe banking act so that banks can do work with sex workers? Yeah. At least with the porn people who are doing what is currently a non-criminalized form of sex work. Like, it's crazy to me that something that is legal, you can't, you can get denied banking, credit cards, etc. It's nuts to me.
And the same people making all this legislation that backs things like banks and websites into a corner and like kind of forces them into not providing services to sex workers are the people that are soliciting illegal forms of sex work pretty often. Like, how often are these government officials being caught, quote unquote, with full service sex workers, which is currently illegal, wrongfully illegal, but like they are like some of the most famous patronizers of this work form. And it's just, I mean, fucking crazy.
It's mind blowing. Another answer that we got that I hated to see, but was happy to, answer why this is not the case, is that sex work is female exploitation, which we've kind of touched on, but I'm so happy that we have 2 creators here that are not female. And everybody here also has said that they are not exploited. Like, you guys are choosing to do this. I can understand why people might think that, because women and AFAB people have been exploited a lot. But just to be like, yeah, just because it happened before doesn't mean that people can't be entering into this with like a completely like clear conscience and knowing exactly what they're doing. And like, and there's 2 boys here, so it's not just females.
I mean, to eliminate, car accidents, we don't, outlaw cars. Like what? It's look, people with pussies people get exploited. People do get trafficked. And that's a completely separate thing. We're talking about totally different things, sex trafficking, and people like, what about trafficking? I was like, yeah, that's a problem that should be solved. And you do not need to criminalize sex work to solve that problem. And in fact, it doesn't even solve the problem.
And I don't think that they are going as hard for
it's disproportionately represented. Like the problem with like sex trafficking, both historically and currently, has existed, yes, but it's also the statistics that are being presented to us are being often incorrectly reported. That's why really like almost 100% of articles about sex trafficking like being like busted says that the people being rescued from the trafficking were arrested. And it's like, how is that? Yeah, that's the thing. no matter who is being caught, quote unquote, doing full service sex work, whether they are a trafficking survivor or a willing participant full service sex worker, they are reported as trafficked individuals, and they are all treated
like criminals.
So it's like pick a fucking side.
Well, there was that girl. I mean, I don't know if she was trafficked, but there was that woman. She murdered her rapist.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And then got like life in jail or whatever. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, what happened to this whole protecting women and trafficking victims thing? I'm sorry. What was that?
Well, also, like before the like Wild West officially joined the United States, the like brothels out there were like run by women. And I'm not saying that women can't traffic each other, but many of the sex workers involved were just women that wanted financial security of some kind. And that was a service they could offer in a market that was hungry for that service. And it was an unsafe time to be doing sex work because they didn't have like a lot of the protections that we have now, but a lot of these people did it willingly and also became landowners because of the stability that they found. And so they actually were in the society that the Wild West had. These women as landowners were actually able to vote like way before the United States allowed women to vote.
Oh, that's too much power.
There's actually just like something really interesting about the way we historically paint all sex workers as like victims and as people who like did it because they had no choice, when actually like there's a lot of rich history about how sex work has repeatedly empowered disempowered people. And yes, I mean, it was mentioned earlier that like sometimes you do sex work because you just really need money and you have no other option, but like who among us didn't also like get a restaurant job for that reason?
Exactly.
Or like who among us hasn't done like a shitty corporate job for that reason? Like you need fucking money to live, and that sucks, but that's not specific to sex work. It's just a way to get the money that we need to live.
Totally.
And the reason why
yeah, no, go ahead.
Oh, and the reason why that's one of the quote unquote like shitty jobs that people want to outlaw is like, well, because it has to do with sex, and people still feel weird about sex. And because like if we didn't feel so weird about sex, why would sex work be weird? Like people are like, the concept of selling pussy, you know, is weird to people who wouldn't do it, which is okay. They don't do it, but like it's just they're like morally outraged because it has to do with that sex thing. It's supposed to be special.
I think
it's supposed to be between you and someone you love.
It's that puritanical idea, but also like what Anya is saying, that it has been such a liberation thing for women, and like, it's getting, you know, people able to own land and shit. That's making women like a little too powerful. Like we don't like to see that, but also like I think a lot of like jobs that people think of as primarily feminine, they look down on a little more. So like I made a list of jobs just to see if people thought they were real jobs. And is being in the Army a real job? 18% said no. And then I said, is being an influencer a real job? 25% said no. Those are both things where you're making money, but the influencer one I think is more primarily female. And even though the other one, like being in the Army is like the most you can sell your body. Yeah. You know, like
sell your entire life.
You could sell your entire life. And
right.
Like, good. Thank you guys for doing that. That is the most risky work, I think.
Yeah.
And arguably the most exploitive, because very often people join the Army under like shitty false pretenses that recruiters have given them, which is like the exact argument that people have about like people being trafficked. It's just an interesting, there's nothing but respect for our troops, but like there are also people that are often being taken advantage of, and we don't seem to care and have very little shits given about them once they are no longer providing that service.
Yeah. We asked, is being a parent, like a stay-at-home parent, a real job? 22% said no. Because it is not making money. However, you are providing a service that otherwise you would have paid child care workers to do. Is that a primarily female job? Yes, it is. But I hope that there is another platform that comes about that is going to treat sex workers and creators properly. That like I feel like OnlyFans has been, and this is like a very common take on the internet, that's like they built their business on the back of sex workers and now is pulling out.
Well, did you see? I'm not sure if you saw their tweet. It's like, we're so sorry. Like, we're doing everything we can right now. Like, I didn't see that. We're sorry. Like, they just tweeted it and like pinned it at the top of their Twitter. Like, we're doing everything we can to push this back, or like, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, this is so weird.
But like, we can go platform to platform, you know, escorts can go from like, you know, advertising site to advertising site. But at the end of the day, if the core problem of sex negativity does not get solved, if the core problem of like not wanting, you know, people to be able to like use their body to make money, who primarily end up being like more AFAB people, women, right? It's like, then it's not going to matter, because like, honestly, we can go to another platform, but like, I'm waiting to hear what like the Porn Union APAG, you know, what they recommend, because honestly, what's to stop a payment processor from doing this to the next platform? They did it with Patreon. It's happening now.
It's happening. It happened to Pornhub a few months ago, and that's why there were all the different, like the changes of service with Pornhub, because certain payment processors are no longer supporting any sexually explicit content. And, you know, Pornhub is kind of like a morally bankrupt platform in a lot of ways, but that was the writing on the wall for OnlyFans, and a lot of people knew it, because it is, you know, unfortunately, the same way it's like not really Instagram's fault that Instagram is a terrible place for sex workers. It's like also not really OnlyFans' fault that OnlyFans is becoming a terrible place for sex workers. It's a legislation thing. And, you know, we have our girl boss, Kamala Harris, to thank. Oh, God. So, you know, like we need to, as much as it's important to be angry at these platforms that are fucking us over, they are also like, they're being backed into a corner because of the ways that we're not
credit card processing.
Yeah, and the credit card processing is also being backed into a corner. It really comes down to like the fine print of our legislation, and there are so many anti-sex work like clauses written into so many random fucking bills. Like any bill like has something anti-sex work in it, and it's sneaky and it's insidious, and it's coming from our Democrats just as much, if not more, than our Republicans. And it's like really just a matter of human beings that are not sex workers caring. Like it really is that simple. If we all held our you know, government accountable and cared about this and knew that it's not going to stop with sex work. Like Billy said earlier, this is a First Amendment thing, and this is like just the beginning. We're being like more monitored than ever, and our freedom, our quote unquote, you know, freest country in the world is like slipping away in a way that is like so obvious to sex workers right now, but is like not gonna stop with us.
Well, we care.
And even if
just
it did
so
stop
you know.
with us, you should still care.
Yeah, we care. Also,
I know.
Not that we've been doing like sex work, but we get banned all the time just for having cum in our name. Or whatever, because we're trying to teach people about safe sex and healthy sex and stuff. And it just feels like a very uphill battle for everybody who's just trying to do good work and make good stuff. But I did find this thread on Twitter about like a lot of people are getting the OnlyFans story wrong, and the reality of it is a lot more damaging and concerning to both the livelihood of sex workers and online freedom in general, just like what you guys are saying. OnlyFans isn't ditching porn and sex workers because it's trying to get new investments. It's ditching them because on October 1st, MasterCard is implementing new rules governing sites with adult content that use their payment processing systems. And I can like attach this whole thread.
Yeah, I remember seeing that thread. Yeah.
But I mean, like we've had payment processors shut down just for like our merch because it's got cum on it. Oh yeah, like you can only purchase our merch with a PayPal. You can't use your credit card.
One thing I will add to the credit card sort of thing is that National Center on Sexual Exploitation and Exodus Cry are the ones that have been talking to Visa and MasterCard and being like, you can't these sex sites are bad. And they frame themselves as crusading against exploitation, but it seems like they're on a creepy mission to remove any trace of sex from society. The National Center on Sexual Exploitation successfully campaigned for Walmart to remove Cosmopolitan magazine, which it likened to porn.
What?
And the founder of Exodus Cry opposes gay marriage and abortion, and they have a deeply anti-woman mission, which they disguise through the anti-exploitation message. So it's them that's getting MasterCard to stop it.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, that they wouldn't want anybody with a vagina making money.
Well, also, let's be clear, the most marginalized sex workers are women with dicks. And
True.
that is that is the people that are getting the worst of all of this, because a lot of trans women, they're the highest demographic to do in-person sex work, and in-person sex work is by far the most marginalized sex work. And dangerous. So, and like the least cared about and the most like dehumanized. But yes, also people with pussies are getting railed by this, and men with dicks.
I mean, yeah, it really breaks not just my brain but my heart, because like, look, I mean, OnlyFans is like, you know, like maybe about 1/4 to 1/3 of my income, depending on the month. Like, God forbid I don't get to another platform where people don't migrate. I'll figure life out. But like, think of the people who already, you know, getting fucked over by society, found this outlet, having it torn out from under them. It's like, I have a lot of friends who are freaking out, and that like just like really makes me fucking mad. You know, and it makes me mad no one fucking cares. I feel like I'm the only one who doesn't, you know, I don't know. It's just like, you sit down, mom or dad, with a fucking article. Like, a lot of them, you could change their mind, because I don't think they even think about them as people. But like, you can make them think about them as people if you show them some people. I sat Bobby Procida down with after Sesta Foss. I show her, give her one article by Andre Shakti. Everyone should follow her. And at the 5 minutes later, I came back. She's like, I had no idea the police could fuck these women and then arrest them still. And I was like, call Josh Gottheimer, that centrist cuck.
It's horrible.
I mean, that's a huge reason that it was really important to me to do this under my real name. Like, my OnlyFans itself isn't under my real name, but I advertise and talk about it under my real name. And it's in huge part because as a comedian, like, I didn't get into comedy for like the accolades. I did get into it to like talk about stuff that's important to me, and because being funny is fun, and why not do both at the same time? And like, my comedy in general has been all about like making people see that a lot of the things that you have, like, that we have like societal opinions on, there's like other ways to look at them, and this is no different to me. And same thing, like, I'm very open with my family about it, and I hide it from no one. If people ask me what I do for a living, I don't like sugarcoat it with like, I'm a content creator. I'm like, I make porn on OnlyFans, and it's because it's really, I'm in a place of privilege because I live in a part of the world where it's stigmatized, but like not as stigmatized as other places. I come from a family where I knew I wasn't going to be like completely rejected. I'm a queer person, and the queer community is like very pro sex work. Most queer people do sex work at some point. So I'm like surrounded by friends who wouldn't judge me for it. And I'm like, if I'm in this place of privilege, I should also like, I should take advantage of it and show people that like, if there's other shit you like about me, like, here's something else that's true about me, and what might that mean about all the other sex workers in the world.
This is what a sex worker looks like versus your idea of, or what you've ever been conditioned to believe. And like, this is like a human being.
Ken, are you under your real name on OnlyFans, or just you promote under same real name,
everything? And that's kind of why I made my OnlyFans, was because my nudes were like gonna get leaked, and I felt it. I just like these are gonna come out. I'm like, I know, like, there's gonna be some weird shit coming out. Let me get ahead of this. Let me like monetize this before I am exploited. Like, that was my kind of mindset too.
There's no way you can hurt me with this if I'm already like, I'm already using my name. So what the fuck are you gonna do?
That's how I feel about this podcast. Not to take away from you guys, but I used to not want to have sex with anybody because I was like, what if I'm like weird at sex? Like, and they like now know things about me, and I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna tell the world about what I am weird about at sex. And like now you can't make fun of me because I already told you.
Yeah.
By the way, another content creator on OnlyFans under their real name. Has anyone heard from Bella Thorne lately?
We have not heard from Bella Thorne lately.
I thought she was going to save us all. I thought
for such a loud person,
was going to do the work.
Silence is deafening.
How about
truly?
I don't know if anyone keeps up with Tana Mojo, but she launched a second OnlyFans the day they announced they were withdrawing, or that they made this announcement, and now she has 2 OnlyFans. Which one of them made 6 million, I believe, this year. So she just needed another one naturally.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, now her new one is so that she can be one of the like good creators. Yeah. I'm sure that's
a rebrand.
Yeah. That's what I have to say to that. Ugh. And like, I want everyone listening to this. I'm sure there's a lot of sex workers also listening to this. So first of all, I'm so sorry for the week you're having, and you're a resourceful ass bitch. That's how you got into this work in the first place.
Hell
and you're
yeah.
gonna figure it out. But also anyone who's not a sex worker listening, it's been a few days since this has happened, and we're like fired up now, and we're like ready to get shit done. But like the weekend I just had, literally like holding my fellow OnlyFans creator friends and us like literally sobbing over this. Like this is like a real lives are like being profoundly impacted by what's happening.
Yeah.
And I do just kind of want to like say that there's an immense amount of grief.
Yeah.
And if you're not currently experiencing it, you should like know how severe this actually is.
Totally.
But yeah, every sex worker listening to this, you'll figure it out, and you're not alone.
I saw like a thread that helped calm me down. I think it was on Saturday. It got me like I was like, okay, I think I can like at least try to enjoy the next day. And so, it was a thread of like some showing how there is backlash against obviously OnlyFans. A lot of people are getting pissed at OnlyFans because I think people are realizing, oh, this seems shitty. Even I'm not attached to it, but like people are blowing back against MasterCard. Like it seems like there, as much as the people go like get a real job out there, it seems like there are more people. There's more and more people who are like getting on the right side of this.
Yeah,
and like that is a little comforting. I mean, I know I'm gonna just sleep more comfortably because I'm in a way more privileged position at the moment. But like, I'm just like, okay, cool. Like maybe my friends aren't going to get completely dick. Maybe there's an inch of progress, and an inch of progress turns into a foot, turns into a mile, and fuck yeah, I'm just gotta keep fighting.
The revolution will not be televised, but it will be live tweeted, and it will be monetized.
That's what I was going to say is I feel like maybe I'm living in a bubble on Twitter, but everybody that I followed has been like, this is an atrocity and we need to like rectify it. And we're standing with sex workers and stuff. And I've talked to other companies. I don't know if I can out which company, but this female led, they make porn, they make sex toys or whatever. We were going to have the CEO on, but she's on vacay right now. But she was talking to me about wanting to make a platform for you guys where everybody can migrate over. Robin just wrote me that Tyga has apparently created his own platform called MyStar that launches in October, and it only takes 10% from creators.
Okay, Tyga.
I saw that.
Okay, Tyga.
Forbes posted about it.
Tell me more.
And he deleted.
Forbes did?
There's actually a friend just sent me, like literally while we were recording, sent me a text that has a list of alternative platforms. And among them, there's some called, frisk.chat, ismygirl.com, manyvids.com, which a lot of OnlyFans creators already use, adultnode.com, loyalfans.com, fans.camsoda.com, fansly.com, and justfor.fans. Just some, I'm not promoting any of those.
No, we're promoting all. Look into all of them.
Well, I'm not formally promoting them because I don't know if some of them are also shitty for whatever reason. But just like there's options. There will be more options. I know that there were some GoFundMes like just a couple months ago for like sex worker, like unionized, like, owned by the members kind of websites.
Is there anything .com? There should be.
You make the platform, Remy.
Yeah, instead of a dot, it's like a little jizz.
Yeah. And there's a lot of like you know, specifically like for gay men and specifically for women types of platforms, and they're all popping up. I think OnlyFans, as shitty as it is as a company, created quite a like new, like it inspired a lot of like ways that that same system could be better, because let's be honest, as a website, kind of sucks. What are they using our 20% for exactly? Because it's not making the website good. So a lot of people we're already interested in like improving what they sort of started, and not all is lost, I guess is what I'm saying. I think this is an interesting time to see what pops up instead.
Yeah.
Can I ask a real quick question of the other two on the panel?
Hell yeah.
I had a freak out for a couple of days, but like I'm good because I know my sitch. But like, how are like Anya and Ken? Like, how are y'all doing? Like, how are you hanging?
Would you like to take this one?
Honestly, like I'm like trying to put on like a good face, and like, but like even like just speaking about this like makes me want to fucking cry. Like it's been like this has been the best thing for me. Like my previous job was fucking shit, and like just the thought of like having to go like make my life, like my quality of life again shitty, and like having this type of money that I thought I would just always have access to is like so scary. I signed a new lease. I just bought health insurance for myself for the first time. Like, and now I have to like literally just got health insurance, and now I'm like, well, fuck, like back to square one. And like I like have a manager and we're talking about like brand deals and stuff, but like it's just so scary. Like the brand deal compared to this weekly paycheck is going to be so hard.
Do you guys have Patreons or anything that anybody could send you stuff in the meantime?
I do not.
I have I mean, I have a Venmo. But I do have a Patreon for like my podcast, and my fellow podcast host is also an OnlyFans creator. So like supporting our Patreon and supporting both of us would be very nice. It's like patreon.com/bestmistakespod. But also I appreciate the support, and I'm actively asking for the support, but I also know that I am among the people that probably like doesn't need it as much. I have a little bit of a cushion. I'm freaking out. I also have like a life that I am paying for because I thought this would just be my job forever. So like I'm right on the same page, but I'm also immensely privileged with like the community and support I already have. And I think the people that, would be inclined to support me already will. So I just encourage anyone listening to support the sex workers in your lives. There's probably more of them than you'd think. The sex workers on your feeds and sex worker mutual aids. There are people who like don't even have we're already fucked from the pandemic regardless of this OnlyFans situation, because sex workers were like very much excluded from any kind of pandemic relief. But yeah, the support would be appreciated.
And like emotional support, or like even just like if you can get on Twitter and not say something dickish, if you can get on Twitter and say something in favor of sex workers, or just just say that sex work is real work when you're having conversations with other people. Like I feel like it starts with one-on-one conversations with people, and a lot of people are just trying to gauge how they should feel by how other people feel. And if you tell them that of course this is valuable work, of course I support this, then they might feel more comfortable supporting it as well.
For sure.
Yeah. And I mean, I've got a Patreon for my podcast too. Yeah, I'm sure we all have our Venmos and Cash Apps in our handles. Please don't put the word whore or sex in the notes of that stuff, please.
No,
then they're
put
going to take
cheeseburger.
that away.
Yeah.
Cheeseburger.
Yeah.
I will know what that meant then. You know what I mean? But also I would encourage, beyond the like, oh yeah, hi, like we all have places you could send money. It's like, wherever you're on social media, go follow some hoes. You know, like fill your, because a lot of people just, I did some interviews for some media outlets, and a lot of them just didn't even know anyone. I had to like introduce them to some people because they don't follow sex workers on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok. There are plenty of hashtag accountants, right? And just like go fill your feed with some. Do you need recommendations? I'm sure if you go into either of our 3 follows section on a platform, you will find plenty of people with like a XXX or something. And you're like, I don't want porn in my feed. I'm like, well, that's kind of, you got to kind of stand with us on a follow button or click or something.
Get some porn in your feed. It's kind of fun.
You can like, yeah, first of all, your feed will be more fun the second it has porn in it. But there's also like an option on Twitter to like hide images that might have porn in them unless you like specifically tap on them and unlock them. So like there's ways to support sex workers without necessarily being like forced to look at their porn.
Oh my God, follow people and mute them if you want.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah. Although the engagement is also nice, and also seeing our thoughts on things is also good. But yes, for sure.
No, like support. Or not, but mute the images maybe, because I have one woman that I follow that I'm like, if I'm in public,
I know.
You guys cannot see what she posts.
Yeah, when I can tell when someone's on a share for share retweet, hour, and I'm like, oh, God damn it, I'm in a coffee shop, but I guess I will go on Twitter in a couple hours when you're done.
Amazing. Well, this has been so much fun. You guys are.
Thanks for having us on, Remy. Of course. Thanks for doing that.
Thanks for giving us a voice.
You guys are some of my favorite people to follow, not just for sex. I mean, like, you're all very sexy, and I love that about you, but you're all great people, and you're doing great work. And we here at How Come support you. And I'm sure the companions would love to follow you. So, Anya, where can everybody find you online? Comedy all?
First of all, thank you for that support, and your support is very much felt and appreciated.
Of course.
Genuinely. You can find me. My Twitter is at Anya Volz, ANYAVOLZ, and that's my Instagram as well. I'm not going to promote my OnlyFans right now because I don't want them to take any more of my money, but it'll be in my link tree, whatever my next thing is.
Nice.
And listen to my podcast. It's called Best Mistakes Pod, and it's co-hosted by a very amazing comedian named Nika Lamazzo. She's also a like fucking badass sex worker, but one of the funniest people alive. And we talk about sex work is among the things we talk about, but not the only thing we talk about. And I think it's good, so people should listen to that.
I think it's good too. Billy, where can everybody find you?
I'd love if y'all would go check out the Man Whore podcast, available where you're listening to How Come. Remy's been a guest on the show in the past.
Yeah.
And you can also follow me on Twitter at @TheBillyProcida. That's PROCIDA. I'm on Instagram at BillyIsProcida. And I will also not plug the OnlyFans for now because I will wait till we figure out where the fuck we're going. But again, you'll link in the bio, as they say.
Billy, I can't remember what I said on your podcast, because your podcast was literally one of the first ones where you were like, okay, what's your sexual orientation? And now I'm like curious as to like where I was in my journey at that point.
I probably have that written down in the notebook from your page.
So if you guys want to go hear Closeted Rem, check it out on Billy's podcast.
Wait, are you? Oh, have you come out as something other than straight?
I'm bi, and my pronouns are she/they.
Mazel.
Thank you.
Okay, hot.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you. We say cumgrats.
Like we all just congratulated Remy on being queer. Like, great job. Way to go.
Honestly,
I'm congratulating,
it took a lot. Yeah.
I'm congratulating you on coming out, to be clear.
Thank you.
But also.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Kenny, where can we find you and your mother?
And my mother. She's not on my OnlyFans, guys. She's not.
No.
But thanks for having me, Remy. Sorry about my service being in and out.
Of course.
It's my name at.
We'll have you back. If you guys have questions for Kenny, all of you, if you have questions for all of you and you're willing to come back for little Patreon chats, we would love that.
It's my at Kenneth Pabon, my name, KENNETH on everything. And the OnlyFans is still up and running. That is the main source of income. So feel free to send me a little subscription. You could see my belly button and everything else.
I'm obsessed with the belly button. And on TikTok, you're Kenneth Pabon too. Okay, unreal. You guys, I have to ask you a question after a sexual experience, which this has been. Anya, did you finish?
Sure.
Okay, awesome. Glad we could make that happen for you. Billy, did you finish?
I'm like so close, but I'm going to finish when we all get off.
Okay, I love that. Get off when we get off. Kenny, did you finish?
Yes, I'm finished.
Okay, amazing. Thank you 3 for coming.
Yeah.
And we will see you next time on How Come. Goodbye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
It's not you, it's me. I try so hard to finish honestly. They say you'll know when you go all the way from A right down to O. Oh no, I think that I've still got a ways to go. Oh, I'm sick of this and I have got to know. How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna just
on your birthday.
Okay.
Sounds weird.
Sounds weird.
Yeah.
Why does it sound
Hello.
weird? Ooh.
I don't know. It sounds weird, but hello, everyone.
Do we sound weird?
Wait, listen to this.
Sound weird. I don't think it sounds
It
weird.
doesn't sound weird?
I don't think
Okay,
so.
All right, you keep it on.
Wait, but yours sounds quiet.
Hello?
Higher.
That's as high as it goes.
Oh, well then that sounds weird then, yeah.